in that second half, he really took it to another level. 18 big-time points in the second half and was able to help his team really pull away. And that's what your best players are supposed to do. They're supposed to shine in the biggest moments. That's what DeMar DeRozan did.
Yeah, no question. DeMar DeRozan, I mean, an all-star player, a guy who's been on the stage before in the playoffs, stepping up big, making big plays. But how about Rudy Gay? I mean, coming in with
KG
19
veteran.
points, you know, just making big shots. Your vets, your guys who have, you know, been in these battles and been in the playoffs before. You need them at this particular time, and they stepped up big. And San Antonio lives to see another day. A Game 7 here in the first round.
You can always count on Greg Popovich making his way to the microphone as quickly as possible, and there he is.
You guys do defensively to cut down on their three-point attempts, and just talk about the defensive rotations?
We just worked at it.
Did you talk to Rudy about being more aggressive tonight?
Everybody in the NBA tries to be aggressive. You don't need to talk to anybody about it.
Coach, Jokić obviously had a tremendous night, but
Yeah, he was great.
was part of the plan to, stay a bit on the shooters and, kind of live and die with that kind of production?
Well, I mean, the plan is a plan, but sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but I'm probably not going to discuss the plan with you, yet, with all due respect. I'm not sure why I should do that. It's not like it's secret or nobody's seen things before, but, things worked out for us tonight.
Coach, what did you see from your team in the first few minutes of this game, or even the first quarter, to let you know that they were ready to play tonight?
I don't know how to answer that question. Why would they not be ready to play? It's the playoffs. Nobody's going to come out flat.
Is there anything specifically that you were looking for that you saw tonight that you didn't see in Game 6, physicality-wise, aggressive-wise?
We had a lot of people participate tonight. A lot of people came and had good games. And I think the Nuggets have had that pretty regularly. And we had that tonight, so that was great to see.
Do you believe in momentum, playoff series?
Sure.
How do you try to capture that? How do you hang on to that from game to game?
That's an intangible. There's no drill or rule for that. Play well and you keep the momentum.
How did you think DeMar did tonight, sort of easing his way into the game? It looked like he was looking for other people first and then sort of took over his offense in the third quarter.
DeMar had a fine game tonight.
More questions? Do you have to say anything to this team in Game 7? You know what it is?
I'll probably speak with them. It's my team. Thank you. It was great.
We got the acerbic Greg Popovich tonight. Let's ask you guys what
Hold on. Did the Spurs win or did they lose?
No, they did win.
They won? I couldn't tell.
120 to 103. Sometimes it is hard to tell.
What was?
Because a couple of times after losses in the series, he was kind of joking around as well. It is hard to read.
It was Pop doing his Russell Westbrook impersonation?
Next question.
Wow, that's very
I
tough.
want to ask you what he was asked, though, about their approach to Jokić. And, there used to be a strategy when Steve Nash was at his best of you're going to make Steve Nash a scorer, right? And not get everyone else involved. He was asked a little bit about maybe that might have been the strategy tonight against Jokić, who scored 43, but maybe that takes away some of the flow from the Denver offense. Is that what you saw?
I think that I did see that. I mean, obviously, Jokić still had 9 assists tonight.
Yeah.
Almost had a triple-double. But 30 shots from Jokić is a little high for him, particularly with a team that's so balanced like Denver, and a team that, similar to those Phoenix Suns teams with Steve Nash that I was fortunate to play on, there's a rhythm to the offense, and everyone touches the basketball, and that's what makes the Nuggets, I think, so unique as a basketball club. One guy taking 30, you're kind of point center. That's a lot. That's a little disruptive. And maybe that same sort of strategy that he used back then against the Suns, he applied a little bit tonight with Jokić.
Most shots he's ever taken, regular season or postseason.
Well, Jokić was really on fire, though. I mean, that's why he took so many shots. He was 19 of 30, had the big game, also had the 9 assists as well. I'm not sure if it took the team out of their offense because he was getting his within the flow. I don't think it looked like a selfish type of night. He was balling. It was just, to me, the problem for Denver was on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I mean, you give up 120. 120 in a playoff game is not what you're looking to give up. Didn't really have good defense on DeMar DeRozan in the second half. LaMarcus Aldridge played well also. So I think the problem for Denver wasn't as much Jokić throwing off the team's offensive rhythm. I think it's more about they didn't get the stops. And you know how it is, G. When you don't get the stops, then all of a sudden, you can see it permeating to the other side of the ball.
No, I agree. Defensively, they were bad. But also, flip side, San Antonio, they finally made shots.
Yeah,
I mean, these were some of the shots they've been getting. They were missing a lot of open shots throughout the series. And we talked even in the pregame show that they were due for a good offensive shooting night. And certainly they stepped up 41% from the three-point line, hit 10 threes out there, a real balanced collective effort. But it's interesting. I just want to get back to that Nash point that you made, Matt. The way that the offense was run in Phoenix was the screen and roll set everything else up for everyone else. Right. And they would stay at home at shooters and basically say, we're going to make Steve beat us. And Steve was capable, and they were the right shots to take. And he might go for 30, 35. But what ended up happening is no one else touches the basketball. No one else is engaged and involved. And the thought process was, well, you're not going to beat us by yourself. And so, in a way, maybe he applied that same thing. All those shots were good, but he wasn't double-teamed on the post. When mismatches, they're going to play him straight up, and if he beats us, he beats us. And so it's just interesting, that adjustment. And to his credit, he still almost had a triple-double, which shows you how great this young man is. But they definitely made a little adjustment there, and San Antonio's adjustment was they just finally made some open looks, which they've struggled the last 2 or 3 games.
57%, easily their best shooting night of the series so far. Every starter shot better than 50% for San Antonio. In fact, everybody who played significant minutes but Patty Mills shot 50% or better tonight. And I don't know if they were doing much differently. The word aggressive gets overused during the playoffs, but Aldridge and DeRozan in particular, Aldridge early, DeRozan in that third quarter, really were assertive in terms of seeking out shots.
Well, I think it was one of those situations where they felt that desperation. They understood, listen, if we don't step it up, if we don't come out here and set the tone, this is it. This is the end. There's not another game. And you heard DeRozan talk about that after the game. And so after halftime, he came out there. He only had 7 points in the first half, but he really stepped it up. And on top of the 25 points he had, I'm also impressed with the 7 assists because that's the evolution of his game. Early on in his Toronto career, he couldn't have got you to 7 assists. That's where he's developed as a basketball player. I think Pop has helped him see the floor a lot more, or just have a calming influence and understand the game a lot more as far as involving your teammates. So I love DeRozan's approach. He didn't look like he was being greedy, but when it was time to turn it on, he really looked to be aggressive. And then at the same time, he had the 7 assists that let me know that he was getting his teammates involved also.
Had a career best season in terms of assists and 12 points after halftime in that third quarter on his way to 25 tonight. Very efficient, as the entire team was tonight. Rudy Gay's 19 points are huge. This is the sort of bench production that they haven't really gotten in this series, particularly the 3 threes. We talked about it in Game 5. They only had 7 threes as a team, and nobody hit more than 1. So for somebody to come off the bench and knock down 3, that was a huge development.
A huge development. Rudy Gay, 3 for 3 from the line. Kind of a throwback game for him, going back to his Memphis days. But the bench production, 38 points for San Antonio to 13 points for Denver. So definitely that matchup there. The bench outplayed them, and just, like I said, shooting the basketball. I thought the offense was crispier, or was run more efficiently, leading to open shots, and they stepped up and knocked them down with confidence.
Mike Malone's Denver Nuggets now face a home Game 7 on Saturday night.
Compared to Tuesday.
We didn't defend tonight, obviously, from the jump ball. They came out, scored 34 points in that first quarter, shot 70% or close to it, and they gave up 120 points in a potential elimination game, 57 from the field. just wasn't good enough tonight. So give them credit. Their season was hanging in the balance, and they came out and did what they had to do. Good thing for us is we worked hard to have home court advantage, to go home and play a Game 7, and we had the best home record in the NBA this year. So that's what we're looking forward to. Next game, Game 7.
You guys were within 5 heading into the fourth quarter. What do you think changed there, other than Joker going to the bench?
I think towards the end of the third and to start the fourth, there was a 22-4 run. It was turnovers for us. It was offensive rebounds for them, and just no defense. Obviously, as I mentioned, Rudy Gay off the bench was a huge factor tonight. You knew at some point he was going to make his imprint on this series, and he did tonight in a big way. Their bench dominated our bench 36-13. First time this happened in this series. But the crazy thing is, we scored 72 in the paint. We had 28 second chance points. But they made threes. They won the rebounding battle again. And outside the paint, we were 8 of 31 for the whole night. Shots outside the paint. So we struggled to make some shots tonight. I think the one play that sticks out to me that's a microcosm of this game, 0.8 seconds to go, second quarter, free throw, and we're standing. DeMar DeRozan misses. No one boxes him out. He grabs it and lays it in. The attention to detail was not there tonight, and we have to be much better, obviously, next game.
Hey, Coach. Pirtle hit Jamal with a knee on that screen tonight. It happened earlier in the series as well. Is that something you try to talk to the refs about during the game, and what did you just kind of see on that?
No, I'll have to rewatch it, but I think, we all send in clips after every game. I think there have been some illegal screens that have been missed, and the response from the league has been that we're right. But for some reason, they don't catch him during the game. And I'll have to watch that play, obviously. But, Jamal got taken out on that play. I don't know if it was dirty or not. I don't think Jakob Poeltl is a dirty player. I really don't. But I'll have to watch the film to see kind of how that happened and how Jamal went down with that injury. But, they're a physical team. They set good screens. And, we have to learn from that.
Michael, how can you get more involvement out of the bench? That's something that you're going to want in Game 7.
Yeah, I thought tonight for the first time in a while, those guys looked tentative. They looked a little hesitant out there. And our bench unit has been really good the whole year, and they're especially good when they're aggressive, when they attack. And most of that comes when we play defense at a high level, because now we get out in the open court. And that's when Monte, Mace, Will, Malik, all those guys really excel. And we weren't getting stops. We were playing against a set defense most of the night, and that made it really hard to kind of get our pace. We had 10 fast break points in the first half, only 2 the entire second half. So better defense will lead to more runouts, more transition opportunities. But Game 7, nothing to lose. We have to attack for 48 minutes, and I don't think we did that enough tonight.
Michael, all series, you've challenged some of your guys when they've needed it. You've talked about managing expectations of a young team, but now you're coming into a Game 7, which is the biggest stage you can get, obviously, in any playoff series. How are you going to approach this with your young guys? How are you going to get them into that game?
We're going to watch the film. We're going to learn from why we lost tonight. Once again, when you win, when you lose, figuring out why, and go out. We did some good things tonight. You look at the stat sheet. If you would have told me we would outscore them 72-36 in the paint, we'd outscore them 28-13 on the glass, I'd say, wow, it's a big win for us. But unfortunately, the 120 points and their mid-range shooting, they were 20 of 29 for mid-range shooting tonight. 20 of 29. That's a hell of a number. So give them credit. But, Game 7, how much do you have to say? For us, we're lucky that we're playing in front of our home crowd. And we understand that, like Game 3, we can't put forth the defensive effort like we put forth tonight. We responded in Game 4 and 5, and the hope is that we'll respond in Game 7.
Coach, Joker was spectacular. Do you think you shot 30 times? Was there a sense that they were just letting him get his and try to keep those other guys from getting off, taking away his playmaking ability?
I didn't get that sense. Obviously, I watched the film. I don't know if they took away his playmaking ability. He had 9 assists, 1 assist shy of a triple-double. But 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists in 38 minutes. And, maybe after playing 48, it's like every time we take him out, it seems like the Spurs go on a run. So he's an MVP candidate, in my opinion, for a reason. And every time we take him out, obviously, it's like you're holding your breath that we can hold on until we get him back. But they doubled him at times. They played him straight up at times, and he was just really aggressive. It's unfortunate that great performance was in a losing effort.
Mike, is there anything that you've seen from the Spurs in this first quarter that you guys lost? Is there anything that you've seen from them in that first quarter that you knew, all right, they're here to play?
Oh, I knew before the jump ball was tossed. I mean, that's a well-coached team, and any team, Clippers last night, Spurs tonight, any team that's facing elimination, they're not just going to roll over. I kept on telling our guys, we have to put them to bed. That they're not going to go away on their own. This is a team with pride and 2 perennial all-stars. So I knew. And I reminded our guys after that first quarter, okay, we knew what to expect in that first quarter. How did we respond to it? And I thought we did a great job. We came out in that second quarter and third quarter, for the most part, playing at a really high level, and it was back and forth. But that run they went on, 22-4, to close that third and start the fourth, that's something I'm really going to have to look at to see why that run happened, and if we have to adjust rotations, lineups, whatever it may be, so we don't allow that kind of a run.
Coach, away from the game now, just your thoughts, if you haven't heard, on the passing of John Havlicek tonight.
I had not heard. That's the first I'm hearing of it.
Just your general thoughts.
No thoughts at the moment. Thanks, everybody.
All right, time to welcome in Joe Borges, Senior Vice President of Replay and Referee Operations from Secaucus. And Joe, we've got one play from tonight's Nuggets-Spurs game packaged just for you. Just before halftime, DeMar DeRozan was fouled. He made a shot. However, after the officials huddled together, the basket was then waved off. What happened on the play specifically, and how does communication between officials help get calls like this one correct?
Well, Matt, this is a great example of the teamwork by the officials to get the call correct. So what you're going to see is Zach Zarba is in the slot position, and he has the best angle to see the bump right there by Craig. But since the play is going away from him, Zach does not see the additional dribble. So in order to give continuation, Zach thought he had ended his dribble when the bump happened and gave continuation. But you can see here Josh Tiven, Tony Brown get together with Zach, give him the correct information, and then Zach turns and admits his mistake, wipes the basket out, and gives him penalty free throws.
That's good teamwork and good stuff out of you, Joe. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you, Matt.
Joe Borges with us from Secaucus tonight. More of our post-game coverage coming up. Spurs force a Game 7 despite a postseason career record from Nikola Jokić.